when you're starting out particularly, you have to play to your strengths. You have to do something that really excites you, and whatever's different about that. In the case of following, the non-linear structure was a somewhat unusual choice. But it's those things that are the strength of the project. It's the things that you can bring to what you're doing or bring to the filmmaking craft that maybe not everybody else is doing, maybe not everybody else can do or has thought to do. That's what's going to distinguish the thing. So it might seem in some ways more difficult, or seem like something that would make the project more difficult to sell when it's finished, you know, what have you. But for me, I think the answer was definitely to try to play to my strengths and the things that I personally was passionate about. For me, everything I did to do with the camera, to do with editing, was useful experience and stuff that paid off when I came to actually, you know, make features. And really everything you do, you learn from, in terms of any time you're shooting something, a short film, particularly short film. When you try to write the script for a short film, it's very difficult to write a short film. I think in some ways it's harder than for a feature, to have a complete idea in just a few minutes and have a beginning, a middle, and an end, you know, have an appropriate conclusion. So you learn a lot about narrative structure doing shorter films. But really every job I did, including you know, corporate videos and industrial training films and things, where I'd have to go to a company and throw up some lights and shoot interviews, you know, with executives and things like that. You're always learning about your craft. You're always learning about you know, how to balance the pragmatic requirements, race against time, using the equipment you've got in a short space of time to sort of get something that you can use. It's all useful experience. I think really the only useful advice I ever got in terms of, you know, trying to figure out your way into the film business, the film industry, is to get yourself a script and hang on to it. It's that idea, that screenplay, that concept, you know, whatever that's going to be, that's so important. And you have to stick to your guns. You have to find something that you can do that maybe other people couldn't do. And even if that seems different or doesn't fit into people's expectations. One of the things that's different about my approach to music, the way I use it in films, is I don't use temp music. Temp music is, you know, when you take existing music from other films usually, and when you're editing the film, you put a lot of that in. Then you get a composer on after the fact and say, this is, you know, do this but different. And to me, that always results in cues that are not what you want, because you've put what you want on there and then said, okay, do something different. So by definition, you're moving away from what first inspired you. So the way I've always worked with composers, like David Julian, James Newton Howard, Hans Zimmer, is to say, okay, let's look at the script. Let's talk about the ideas.